Hey guys, this is Ish at Ish's Tactical Solutions, and today we wanted to go over one of Steiner's scopes and Geissele's scope mount for the scope. So we're going to start with the scope first. This is the 5 to 25 by 56 millimeter with a 34 millimeter tube from Steiner. All right, and it's called the M5Xi. Basically, this is their military version. Extremely nice scope, and we're going to talk a little bit about it. It's going to be more of a first impressions type thing because there's so many details about this scope that I feel that people need to know, and I don't want to make the videos extremely long. So there's going to be various segments of this, and we'll go through each detail as we do because it's that important to know all the details of this scope and what this scope is capable of. So we're going to go over the basics for right now. I'm putting this on a 6.5 Creedmoor that I just got done building, and from this point on, each review or portion that we do, this scope will actually be on it. When you first get the scope out of the box, you can tell that it is definitely military grade. It does have a weight to it, but you expect that considering that it is a 34 millimeter tube with a 56 millimeter objective. The next parts about it is just like most scopes, and definitely any scope that Steiner or their binoculars make, is they have the zero for the eye focus there. That's good because different people that shoot your scope and stuff, it gives you an idea. Here's the thing that I've noticed about their binos, and what I've noticed about this scope as well, is that mine is set on zero, and according to the State Department military OGA, is I have 20/20 vision. So I've noticed though other people that use them, they adjust them a little bit, but for me, zero is perfect, and the other individuals that claim to have 20/20 vision are always on zero. So that's a good thing because it gives us an idea, and I don't know if they purposely done that or what, but it always works out for the guys that have 20/20 that it's on zero. So that's a nice thing on the eye relief. Like I said, when you pick it up, you can just tell. It brings me back to when I was in the military. I mean, you can tell this is military grade type of scope. Extremely sexy paint job to it here. This FDE type color, and you can tell that it's a non-scratch surface. Like I said, you don't feel like if you drop the scope that you're going to have major problems with it, even though I would never do that. I believe that it'd be okay to do so. A claim, I think it's something, and I don't even know the details on it because it's not that important to me, but it is submerged up to like 30 meters, which for us hunters and here where I live and stuff, I want to know that I can submerge and it's waterproof, within a couple of feet. It definitely surpasses what I need it for and what most of us would actually use it for. We'll move up to moving the power of it. Now, what we have here is the adjuster, and if you can see right there, it has a small lip right here. And actually watched some reviews on this already. Now, this is set up to where you use gloves to move it, and people were kind of complaining about the size of this right here. T5XI has a quick lever. I don't like the quick levers. Everything that I do on a scope, precise movement, and the idea that I'm just slamming it back and forth, everything, it's kind of like drawing your pistol from a holster is the way I look at it, is as smooth as fast, fast as smooth. So I'm not trying to yank things. I purposely, as consciously as I can anyways, move things to where I want them to be. And I actually like this adjustment. I think that it's perfect. Now the great thing is, and you would expect this from Steiner, is that it is very, very smooth, or retention to where you can move it easily, but at the same time, if you bump it, it's not going to move. Moving on, you can see that we have our turrets right here. This is some of the more unique parts about the turrets. Is it has your windage turret right here. We'll start on it, and on the windage turret. Now these are actually pretty hard to move, and I'm going to find it hard to get precise the way I want. I'm going to have to slow down even more, but you don't have to worry about them moving. The second great part about that is it has a lock, so once you're on there, you just move it to the lock and it's not going to move at all. So that's a good part of it. I like how they come out. They're nice and fat, which, you know, coming out of a 34 millimeter tube, they will be. And you're able to get a hold of the turrets just fine and move them. It's just like I said, everything's real close together, but I know that it's going to work for me, and we'll find out more as we continue on. The next turret is our elevation turret, and it's the same thing. It has the lock, good movements. It's a little bit taller one because you're gonna be moving that more often, and I just like the way that it does move. It does have a zero stop to it, or within 1 or 2 0.1 mils, and this is, by the way, a mil dot scope. 0.1, 0, you know, move. The part that shows us where we are actually at. Because most turrets, whenever you make a rotation, then it has the indicators that show you, okay, you're at 1, 2, and 3. All right, and sometimes those are a little confusing because they're hard to see. This right here, one of the most important parts, is right when you get to about 13 mil dots, and you can see it right here, it starts to lift up and starts to give us the rest of the mils. So we know that we're where we're at all the time, and there's 26 mils on there. Actually, like you can probably go 26 and a half. It will go a little past 26 mils, which is plenty for the distance that we're doing with the scope mount that we have. And I don't know if you guys can see that in there. Hopefully you can, but there, as it raised up, you can see the mils, and like I said, it starts lifting at 13, and it starts at 15 mils is where this one, and that cap goes up in there, and you don't even see the 14 to 1 mils anymore, 14 to 0 mils actually, and so you won't get confused, and comes all the way back. Like I said, zero stop or within that 1 or 2. They're very nice turrets, very well put together. All right, here we have our side parallax, and it goes from 50 to infinity. Actually, 50 to 1,000, then it shows infinity. And it's also very smooth. Doesn't seem like you're gonna have problems moving it. Good grip to it. And then here we have the Illuminator, and the Illuminator goes from to 11. It has 0 on both sides, so you can go to 0 either way. But it has the night vision setting, so it's basically from 0 to 7. Then on past that is for daylight use. But I've checked it out. It looks pretty good. Works pretty well. I like the idea that I can set it back at 0. All right. And you can see here that the 56 millimeter tube does seem to be a true 56 millimeter tube. We measured it, and it's good to go. And there's certain other things that we are going to do to show you little tricks of the trade that one of the guys at Steiner actually told me about. And I'm going to use these methods to show you all the things that this scope can do. So I have looked at it in low light. It is amazing. It brings in 94% of the light transmission. I looked at it through to ensure that I'm not seeing any white through the entire scope. I don't. It's nice and blacked out. I like that about it as well. The low light conditions that we have when I was looking through it, this is the clearest glass I've ever looked through. and it's just flat out amazing. You know, basically this is for special operations. It was made for 338 Lapuas and above because they needed something that was nice and sturdy, all right, and could handle the recoil of those type of rifles up to that 50 BMG, and still get out there and be clear. This is the clearest. I wish when I was a sniper in the military that I had had something this nice. Not anything against the Mark IV, but that's what we had, was a Mark IV, and we definitely didn't have this nice bend in the glass from 5 to 25. We had 4.5 to 14, all right, and a 30 millimeter, 4 millimeter tube with all this adjustment, just crazy. And you know, depending upon, we would you would have a 44 millimeter objective or 50 millimeter objective. So 56 millimeter objective is just crazy, and that's what this scope is a crazy scope, because when you look through it, I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to want any other scope. And I like scopes. I like looking through scopes. I like playing with scopes, and I definitely like shooting with scopes. And this scope right here so far has been the clearest glass that I've looked through. Like I said, a great bend, huge diameter in the tube, huge objective, all right, and just rock solid type of scope. And I'm telling you right now, this is a lifetime scope, and this is the reason we're doing the review, is because this is an investment. And I promise you, as of right now, I feel that this is a great investment, and as we continue on, we'll show you more and more details about this scope. I just wanted to give you that first impressions of the scope, and give you an idea of what we're going to do later on with the scope. So we're going to run some light through the scope. We're going to compare it to other scopes. All right, we're going to check and its tracking. We're going to check its mil dots, or its 0.1 movement, make sure that it's on. We're going to shoot this thing at 100. We're going to shoot this thing at 400. We're going to shoot it at 800. We're going to shoot it at 1200. And we're going to make sure that everything is good to go on this scope, and help you guys make a decision if you want to make this type of investment. Now, they have 3 other M5 or these type of scopes. I think it's a 1 to 5 and a 3 to 15 as well. All right, and so you know, for you hunters out there, you know, the 1 to 5 is more of a tactical, but that 3 to 15 may be more practical for what you're doing. Mine, I wanted to use it for target shooting and hunting, and I definitely feel like this is the scope that I can do it. Later on, it may take us a little longer because we have so many reviews to actually do. We do want to take the rifle, which we'll be doing a review on the rifle I built as well with this scope, out to 1500 yards. So I'm excited about that. It's been many years since I've shot 1500, and that's usually because I don't have the setup, or I just I don't have the time or the range. So we're getting all that squared away. Like I said, you're going to enjoy the scope. All right, now I wanted to talk a little bit about the scope mount that they sent with it, which is from Geissele. Now, Geissele, as you already probably know if you watch my my channel here, I love their triggers. It's part of the 4 that I use that I don't have to manipulate, and the 5th trigger that I do use is owned by Geissele, and so basically 2 ALG, which are their Geissele owned. So these 2 different triggers I've used, and I know that they make product or good products anyways. And this right here doesn't seem any different. This actually feels like I'm handling the scope because it's made of such good material and it's set up so well. All right, now this was made for special operations as well. They wanted a scope mount that could complement the scope. All right. And one of the things that I found impressive about reading on it was that this scope mount, basically, it was like 2,400 pounds. It was something just crazy, but it's fitted so well to this 34 millimeter tube that you can basically put all the pressure you want on it, and it's not going to crush the scope. But at the same time, this scope will never move inside this, all right? So that is crazy, and it's got a nice good coating right in here. Everything is perfectly aligned, and later on we're going to do a video of how to mount scopes, or how I actually mount scopes, and we're actually going to do it with this setup right here, and my redundancy on how to get it done. Now at the very bottom, you'll see right down through here they have the little spacers for your Picatinny rail. I've already fitted this inside the Picatinny rail, and this is a perfect fit. Now that means that's important for all of us, because you need a perfect fit. If you've got a perfect fit, then when you're writing T2 or T3, you're not writing T2 and a half, T3 and a half. You're actually writing what it was on if you have to take the scope off. And that's going to give you a much closer zero when you take the scope off and put it back on, because there's not any movement here. And many of the scope mounts that I have, there is movement, and I have to re-zero because I'm well within that 3/4 inch off that that I find acceptable or not acceptable, and I have to re-zero my scope over it. And I think this right here, it's going to keep that from happening, all right? And like I said, it's made very well, and you're not going to break this. It's not going to happen. It's not going to slip. The scope is not going to slip. This is set up for snipers in special operations, for big bore guns, all right, and all the crazy things that they have to go through, whether it be a creep or a stalk, all right, and going underwater, or in adverse conditions, different, just different elevations, everything, getting in and out of the helicopter. This scope is set up for that. So, and the scope mount. So, like I said, guys, I'm going to try to keep this short. So we're gonna quit talking about it now, and we'll continue on with more. All right, I just wanted to do them first impressions, and this right here gets a 10 from me immediately. Both the scope mount and the scope. All right, go check them out at Steiner's website, and I guarantee you you're gonna learn some things about this scope that you're gonna find crazy, just like I have. Later on, like I said, we're gonna do some light tests. We're gonna do all different types of tests with this. All right, and we're gonna go out and shoot her and let you see how it is. Okay, give us a like, subscribe, make us a favorite. God, family, country, all in that order. Thanks for watching.